Welcome to Multiculturalism Happens Here. I am M Ruelas, and I work with Visions Inc., a nonprofit established in 1984. We are a catalyst for a more equitable world, where differences are valued and used for the benefit of all. Our goal is to address national and local issues through the lens of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism. Why does it matter? Why do we care? Why do I care, at least? Multiculturalism, when defined well, something to strive for, not just in my own personal life, but with my family, with my friends. I think as a community, as a state, as a country, it's so beautiful. We are in a global transition as cultures and peoples come closer and closer to one another. The proximity to differences is radically changing faster and faster. And the rules for navigating a multicultural space are going to be an important tool for the modern person. Visions defines multiculturalism as the movement in a space from monoculture to pluralism. That movement happens at 4 levels: the personal, interpersonal, cultural, and institutional. And the goal is to recognize, understand, and appreciate differences. The personal looks like thoughts, narratives, and beliefs. And so at the interpersonal level, our narratives around relationships, our behaviors when we are in proximity to differences, if we aren't doing the work of examining those interpersonal relationships and behaviors and thoughts, we are very likely to fall into the pattern of uplifting monocultural interpersonal relationships. At the cultural level, what are some of the norms that are acceptable? And what are some of the behaviors that are shameful? The institutional level, policies, laws that are uplifting monoculture and punishing differences. These are the 4 lenses in which we can look at the situations that we are finding ourselves in: personal, interpersonal, cultural, institutional. Going back to the definition of monoculture and pluralism, the question of what is pluralism? Pluralism is a frame for understanding differences. When we talk about pluralism, we're talking about how many differences can be in a space and us still working together in harmony to achieve whatever set goals we have in front of us as a community. Currently, we are finding ourselves in the United States with spaces that are full of differences, and yet we are struggling to navigate those differences. That's what I like to call diversity. Diversity is the amount of differences in a space. Pluralism is not just how many differences there are in the room, but it's the quality of the relationship between the differences. An example of a difference are generational differences. Often enough, I hear complaints about millennials. One of the generational differences around millennial that I like to relate to are the ways in which we, considering myself a millennial, deal with differences. Millennials are navigating differences through labels and identities. One of the complaints that I hear are millennials have too many identities. They want to be called Latinx, queer, femme, they and them. And I think it's so beautiful that those labels, which in an older generation might be seen as divisive and antagonistic, within a younger generation, those labels are seen as signs of respect and unifiers. For example, I will say the label of cis. Younger people are okay with labeling and identifying as cisgendered, male or female, because they recognize that it is an important part of creating a pluralistic structure where you will address cultural power dynamics at a personal/interpersonal level. The cultural dynamic are the power structures that come with cultural norms. Cultural norms being reinforced by binary thinking. The binary around gender, male or female. The norm being, if you fall within the binary, then you get to be normal and you get to indulge in the societal rewards for falling into the cultural norms. When young people begin to use cis, they are beginning to change the cultural norms away from a binary, saying that there are not just one or two, male and female, but there's cis, there's queer, trans, there's nonconformist, and that these labels are not labels that are dividing us as a generation, but they're labels for acknowledging the differences so that we can work together with a level of respect and understanding. Monoculture does not want us to recognize differences. The monocultural narrative around differences is that they're dangerous. If you think something is dangerous, then you would physically, emotionally, psychologically not be able to be in proximity to it. When you have no proximity to that difference, you cannot understand that difference. When you cannot understand a difference, then you cannot appreciate the difference. The final part of the multiculturalism model, which is the movement within a space from monoculture to pluralism, happening at 4 levels: personal, interpersonal, cultural, institutional, is that we are able to create a culture where we can recognize, understand, and appreciate differences. Thank you for joining us. This has been Multiculturalism Happens Here. If you found this helpful, resourceful, give us a like, subscribe, share, or positive review. Consider giving to Visions, link down below, or joining us for one of our workshops, trainings, or youth summits. Interested in having us come to you? Contact us for more info. Keep rocking the free world, stay you, and be different. Much love, family.